House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan despite Beijing threatening serious consequences if she went through with the visit. The U.S. and Japan are working to stand up to what they describe as Beijing's economic coercion, and several key industries could benefit from the effort. Thousands of China's wealthy are looking to leave the country and could take over $40 billion with them. We examine what prompted the exodus, and an arrest followed by an allegedly fake bomb threat. A human rights activist accuses Beijing of setting him up. Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan. Arriving Tuesday night local time, she is now the highest-ranking American official to visit the self-ruled island in 25 years. That's despite threats of serious consequences from Beijing. Pelosi and her congressional delegation were greeted by Taiwanese officials at the airport. She is expected to meet with Taiwanese President Tsai on Wednesday. In a statement released immediately after her arrival, Pelosi called her visit a sign of America's unwavering commitment to Taiwan. She stressed their deep friendship is rooted in shared interests and values: self-determination and self-government, democracy and freedom, human dignity and human rights. Pelosi added that the visit does not contradict long-standing United States policy, guided by the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has threatened to annex the island by force if necessary. It also views visits to Taiwan by foreign government officials as recognition of the island's sovereignty and as insults to Beijing. Pelosi's visit has won support from Republicans, with 26 GOP senators backing her up in a joint statement. Countering communist China while protecting Taiwan has become one of the very few issues that unite Democrats and Republicans.
At the end of the day, you do not want the Chinese Communist Party dictating to senior American leaders where they can and cannot travel. So my view, and I think the view of a number of senators, is that we should close ranks now and not let the Chinese Communist Party try to drive wedges between American elected officials or the White House.
What are your thoughts on Speaker Pelosi's trip to Taiwan?
I think it's great, and I'll tell you the reason I think it's great. We've all been to Taiwan, and we should go. They're peace-loving, they're a freedom-loving country, and we do an awful lot of trade with them, and we've been very supportive. I've been there. I think every senator and congressperson has been there. So
she won't be the last to go over there. I'd love to see President Biden go.
The Biden administration did not explicitly urge Pelosi to call off the visit, but it has sought to assure Beijing that U.S. policy on Taiwan hasn't changed.
And so if the Speaker does decide to visit and China tries to create some kind of crisis or otherwise escalate tensions, that would be entirely on Beijing. We are looking for them, in the event she decides to visit, to act responsibly and not to engage in any escalation.
But Beijing has nonetheless reacted through economic measures against Taiwan and cyber attacks. The Chinese regime just banned the import of more than 100 Taiwanese food products, including a number of popular brands. At the same time, the website of Taiwan's presidential office was hit by a cyber attack traced from overseas. Meanwhile, the CCP on early Wednesday morning summoned U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns to protest Pelosi's visit. With the world watching House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, locals have split views over her arrival. Some are calling it a war of words. Here's more.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan, and the U.S. says it will not be intimidated by Chinese saber-rattling over the visit. Taipei residents were divided over the speaker's visit amid intensifying warnings from China. One university student says the visit will help improve Taiwan-U.S. relations.
I hope that the relationship between Taiwan and the U.S. can improve a little bit, so Pelosi's visit should be a good thing for us. We are hoping that she can fly over and visit Taiwan.
Though his classmate says he disagrees.
The visit won't have any real benefit. In the end, we are just a chess piece in someone else's game. It is very hard for Taiwan to walk its own path, as we are so nondescript on the international stage. So there's nothing we can do. So this visit doesn't mean anything, to be honest. It's just a war of words.
A person familiar with Pelosi's itinerary said her meeting with President Tsai Ing-wen was scheduled for Wednesday. Pelosi had been visiting Malaysia earlier on Tuesday, having begun her Asia tour in Singapore on Monday.
China has been ratcheting up diplomatic and military pressure on Taiwan. As the threat of a Chinese invasion becomes increasingly possible, Taiwan is taking measures to ensure its people are prepared. NTD's Chenny Wu has the story.
Are the Taiwanese people ready in the case of an invasion by Beijing? The island wants to make sure that answer is yes. That's as rising Chinese military pressure and Russia's invasion of Ukraine bring new attention to a potential Chinese attack. Right now, Taiwan is preparing its air raid shelters. The democratic island has vowed to defend itself and has made strengthening its defenses a priority, making sure both the military and civilians are prepared.
When you look at the war in Ukraine, when the Russians, strike, in the beginning they would hit military targets, but it's hard to imagine that they would not hurt the innocent public. Normal buildings, organizations, or schools could get hit by strikes too. In the same vein, Taiwan could face the same situation.
During the drills, civilians could be seen crouching in basement parking lots. They cover their ears and eyes while keeping their mouths open to minimize the impact of blast waves. Taipei has more than 4,600 designated shelters that can accommodate some 12 million people, more than 4 times its population. Shelter entrances are marked with yellow labels in underground spaces like basement parking lots, the subway system, and underground shopping centers. But many in Taiwan are unaware of the shelter system that stretches under much of the city.
I have always thought this is just a place for shopping. So when I heard you say it's a bomb shelter, I felt very surprised.
Harmony Wu didn't know that an underground shopping concourse where she practiced dance would become an air raid shelter in the event of war. But she says she understands its importance.
I think war is brutal. We've never experienced war because since we were born, we've had peaceful times. Well, it counts as peace. I think we aren't prepared and won't immediately realize at the time that war has arrived. We might still be laughing and having fun without knowing that outside the war had already started.
Taipei officials have been making information about these shelters more accessible, launching a social media and poster campaign and marking their locations on an app. Chenny Wu, NTD News.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi last week. The meeting was held in the Uzbek capital Tashkent on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meeting. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry's website, the two parties assessed Russian-Chinese relations positively, saying they continue to develop dynamically in a difficult geopolitical situation.
Today, we see how the world is transforming towards greater diversity and balance. The number of truly inclusive forms of interaction is growing. This evolution is supported by many states, including Russia, China, and most countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, that are seeking to pursue an independent policy.
Lavrov added that Russia supports these processes, together with its Chinese partners. The ministers also discussed the prospects and modernization of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Lavrov's visit to Uzbekistan followed a 4-day trip to Africa, where Moscow sought to strengthen ties with countries outside what it calls the collective West. That's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for more than a year. Here's what's coming up in our second half. A look at how the U.S. is working with Japan to counter Beijing. Plus, we look at why 10,000 wealthy Chinese people are looking to flee their country. The full episode is available on our partner platform at Bok TV. To sign up, click the link down below. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer, and see you tomorrow.
Presenting the heritage of traditional Chinese martial arts, promoting martial ethics, and reviving the true tradition. The 2022 NTD International Traditional Chinese Martial Arts Competition preliminaries will be held in New York and Taiwan. On August 28th, the finals will be broadcast live online worldwide. Registration hotline 188-477-9228. For more information, please visit martialarts.ntdtv.com.